A mom from Minnesota is facing sex charges, accused of having sex with two teenage boys during a staycation with her family at a hotel. We have the allegations and how she met up with the boys. I'm Anjanette Levy. It's Tuesday, and this is Crime Fix. Allison Chardon is a 38-year-old wife and mother of two who's accused of having sexual contact with two boys who could have been her own sons. Police in Roseville, Minnesota say Chardon met the two 15-year-old boys at a hotel there outside of Minneapolis on January 14th. The teenage boys were there with their hockey team from Colorado. An affidavit says Chardon met the boys in a hot tub and complained about trouble she was having in her marriage. Chardon told the boys she had cheated on her husband and that he had hit her. Chardon went to the boys' hotel room after sending them a message on Snapchat, according to an affidavit. That same affidavit says Chardon performed oral sex on one of the boys and had one of the boys touch her. The next day, the affidavit says Chardon actually showed up at the boys' hockey game, which creeped them out. Chardon faces 2 counts of criminal sexual contact, one in the 3rd degree and the other in the 4th degree. Dr. Angela Arnold is here to talk with us about what's going on with this case. Dr. Arnold, Allison Chardon is accused of molesting, basically, these two 15-year-old boys. I can't imagine this is the first time this has happened. Your thoughts?
Oh, Anjanette, that was the very first thing I thought when I read these stories, because it didn't seem to bother her. She felt like this was just something that she did. She was so emboldened by it. I am completely sure that this is not the first time that she has done this.
The thing that is so shocking to me about it is the fact that she's on a staycation with her 2 young children and her husband. She happens upon these kids, these teenage boys who are hockey players. She's in a hot tub with them, basically saying, oh, yeah, I cheat on my husband and we don't get along and he hits me and we're having this kind of bad, we're in a bad spot and we're trying to work it out. And she's sending Snapchat messages to the kids, which is just a whole nother creepy thing. Like sending, anytime an adult is sending social media messages to young people, I think that's a huge red flag. Yes. It is. And these 15-year-old boys, people can say all they want. Oh, they're, teenage boys. Yeah, they probably, they liked it. You hear all that garbage, which it's garbage. They're still children. I can't imagine, what is going on with this woman. According to the allegations, she's innocent until proven guilty. But what do you think is going on here for this woman?
Like psychologically,
to be kind of preying upon these boys at a hotel.
That's exactly
while
what
her
she's doing.
Young children and her husband are in another room.
Now, Anjanette, sorry to say, this is not the first time I've heard of something like this. I've actually had patients that have been involved in things like this. Okay,
really?
So I've been able to study these people. Yes. First of all, if the allegations are true, she's a predator. She is an older woman who is preying upon children who are underage, and she's above them, and they don't know how to handle how she is coming towards them. Okay, but when we talk about her and her psychological issues, Anjanette, I am convinced that she is at the very least a sociopath, and perhaps even a psychopath, because I promise you, she will never think that what she's done is wrong. She is never going to be able to see the error in her ways. She thinks, and she has no conscience about this. So she preyed on these children, and that's exactly what they are. They are children. As much as she is not thinking about her own children in her hotel room and her husband and the kind of mother and woman that she's supposed to be, she's also not thinking about, as all of us are horrified by this, she's not horrified by this. She is not horrified by her actions. And I'll promise you, she'll get up in court, she'll have a straight face, she'll be able to convince some people that she didn't do anything wrong. I am not kidding. And you know why? Because she's a sociopath at best. And she has no conscience about what she's doing. This is a very dangerous situation. I know that right now people are just shocked by it, but I want people to know the danger that exists with what she has done and inside of this woman, okay? Anjanette, she needs to be put away forever for this. She's never going to change.
Well, she's right now charged with 3rd and 4th degree sex crimes. I don't want to go into too much detail about what went on, but I mean, it is pretty disturbing. You know, she started out when she went to the hotel room, according to the affidavit, by telling the boys that they could touch her breasts. And then things progressed. She is accused of performing oral sex on one of the boys and then kind of instructing them to touch her in certain ways. I mean, she's fully nude. The third boy who was in the room is watching all of this unfold. And according to the police, they have Snapchat messages from after the fact where she's reaching out to the boys, or at least one of them, and saying, you know, does he regret this? And the one victim who's identified as victim 2 says, yes, he does. And she's like, oh my gosh, that's so terrible. He regrets his first, you know what? So I just, you know, it sounds like the police
that's what she's able to call it. Yeah. But Anjanette, think about that. She's thinking that she's done these boys some sort of good by letting them have their first experience. That's in her mind what she's concocted. She raped them. She molested these little boys. That's what she did. And she has no remorse about it, and she never will. Look at the way she looks at it. She thinks she did them a favor. Oh, they had their first experience with me. It was safe. How could you regret that? Nothing bad was going to happen to anybody.
We'll get you back to Crime Fix in just a sec. But first, I want to tell you about our sponsor. It's Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan is the largest personal injury law firm in the U.S. They make submitting a claim really easy. You can do it using your cell phone. When you are seriously hurt, your injury could be worth millions. And when you're fighting a big insurance company, you need a big law firm like Morgan & Morgan to fight for you and to protect your rights. Morgan & Morgan does not settle for lowball offers. Just in the last couple of months, Morgan & Morgan has had some big verdicts. In Florida, there was one for $12 million. It was 34 times higher than the highest insurance offer. In Philly, Morgan & Morgan won a $26 million verdict. That was 40 times the highest insurance offer. And in New York, they won a $6.8 million offer. That one, a whopping 25 times the highest offer. There are no upfront fees. It's free to submit a claim. You only pay if you win. So log on to www.forthepeople.com/crimefix or click the link in the description to submit a claim. The thing that is upsetting to me as well was the fact that, I mean, she was even able to gain access to the boys. Yes, you know, they're on this hockey trip. You know, the kids, I'm sure they had a chaperone, but, you know, they're down there in the hot tub. They're doing what kids do. They're probably just hanging out, you know, doing whatever. Mm-hmm. And then this woman shows up and meets up with them. I just am, kind of stunned. Go ahead.
I thought just the mere act, Anjanette, you and I would not get in a hot tub with 2 strange 15-year-old boys that we didn't know at a hotel. No. There are boundaries that we keep, right?
Correct.
That would just be wrong, wouldn't it? I'm quite sure my 20-year-old...
Yes, very wrong.
I'm sure my 20-year-old daughter wouldn't get in a hot tub with 2 15-year-old boys, okay? Because we know the boundaries. That alone, if nothing else had have happened that day, that alone is so wrong on so many levels, isn't it? Just the getting in of the hot tub. And then she starts having these conversations with these kids. Wow. It's almost as if, you know, she was having the conversations with them. I'm sure the boys were maybe a little bit confused about, why is this woman telling us this? But she wanted them to possibly feel sorry for her. She was grooming them. That's what she was doing in the hot tub. She was grooming them, okay? This woman is a danger to our society.
There was definitely a lot of oversharing there. And then, you know, the husband coming down and It's what I would call a hot mess. Dr. Arnold,
A hot
do you
mess
see
in the
more
hot tub.
coming out of this? Do you see other people possibly coming forward? I mean, there's been a lot of media on this case. It's been all over the internet. The fact that you've got a young mother of two, a 38-year-old woman accused of sex crimes with two 15-year-old boys in a hotel room. She's talking, according to the affidavit, to these boys about, having cheated on her husband. With whom? I mean, that's the question in my mind.
Oh, I have a feeling this is the tip of the iceberg, don't you? I don't know how many people are going to want to actually.
That's what I'm wondering.
I just don't see this as the first time that she would have done this. To me, she had too much bravado about it. It came too easy to her. This was not her first time that she was practicing doing this. Okay. And she took advantage of vulnerable little boys that are under the age of 16. And that's how people need to see this. I don't want to hear any of this boys will be boys or anything like this. What if a man had have done this to 3 little girls? There would be no question in our mind how wrong that was, right?
Right.
And this is every bit as wrong as that.
Well, and Dr. Arnold, in the affidavit, it said that she Snapchatted or texted the one boy, I think it was a Snapchat, after the fact when they were back in Colorado, and said, please don't report this. I'll do anything. Don't report this to the police. So according to the affidavit, she was cognizant of the fact that what had happened and what she had done, according to the allegations, that it was wrong.
It sounds that way. So I also, again, Anjanette, on the same topic, I have to wonder how many other people she said that to and cajoled them to not report her. Okay. So yes, I'm not saying she's crazy. She's not crazy. I'm saying she is severely personality disordered. She doesn't know boundaries. She doesn't have a conscience. But she certainly did know after the fact that she could get in some trouble for this. Okay? But she doesn't have a conscience in dealing with these little boys. That's what makes her a danger. Okay? That's what makes her a danger out in society.
And then showing up at the hockey game the next day was really kind of stunning to me.
Completely
I'm like, that's
boundaryless.
That's like something that a high school girl does, like you meet some boys and then you show up at their hockey game, like you think they're cute or something. It just is not something a 38-year-old woman should be doing.
You know what I also wonder, Anjanette? I also wonder if her showing up was to make them fearful, perhaps. Make the little boys fearful of saying anything about her. Okay? Maybe I know where you are and whatnot, and don't come after me. I don't know. I don't know what her thoughts were in her head.
I don't know. They said they were creeped out.
Yes. Because, she crossed yet another boundary with those kids. She went on to their turf then.
Well, we will definitely keep an eye on this case as it progresses. Dr. Angela Arnold, thanks as always for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Anjanette.
And that's it for Crime Fix on this Tuesday, February 6, 2024. I'm Anjanette Levy. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, have a great night.